What are you doing?
Nothing. Be quiet. God. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Potty Planet Entertainment. My name is Chris. In case you don't know, my girlfriend's a jerk. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Potty Planet Entertainment. My name is Chris, and in case you don't know, I review movies and I rank them on a scale of 0 to 100 in increments of 5. Today, we're going to be continuing talking about Star Wars with Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith was released in 2005 and it stars Hayden Christensen, Natalie Portman, Ewan McGregor, Samuel L. Jackson, Ian McDiarmid, Jimmy Smits, Frank Oz, Anthony Daniels, and Christopher Lee. It was directed by George Lucas and it was produced by George Lucas. And this movie is the one that shows us the end of the Clone Wars, how the Stormtroopers came to be, how Anakin turns to the dark side, and you get to see the birth of Luke and Leia. You see how C-3PO and R2-D2 end up in the position of Captain Antilles, and this movie leads us right into Episode 4. This is by far the best prequel movie. I know a lot of people like to crap on the prequels, but even if you crap on the prequels, you gotta admit this is at least a watchable movie to everyone. This is I think it's fantastic. I think this is one of the better Star Wars movies. I think all three of the originals are clearly the best ones, but I'm not really sure if I like this one better or The Force Awakens better as my number 4 spot, but maybe I'll figure it out when I rewatch Force Awakens. So let's get into my pros with this. The action is great. I love the action in this movie. The lightsaber fights are fantastic. All of them. And there's so many of them in this movie, too. This movie is chock full of lightsaber fights. And there's a bunch of them. As a matter of fact, the lightsaber fight, in case you didn't know, between Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi at the end of the movie is the longest sword fight in cinema history. And it's so great. It's got great music. The special effects are great. Sometimes the CGI looks a tad bit dated, but for the most part, it holds up really well. It's a very dark movie. It's very suspenseful. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's very quotable because, prequel memes. The characters are great. The costumes are great. The makeup is great. Actually, I believe this movie got nominated for an Oscar for the makeup. It's very emotionally impactful, too. When the Jedi Purge happens and all the Jedi are getting slaughtered, even when I was a kid, that made me feel like I was going to tear up. One thing that people don't really often talk about with this movie is the scene transitions. It doesn't just cut from one scene to the other. There's like a fade or like a sort of like the screen does like a turning effect. There's a bunch of like different transitions that George Lucas does, and I actually really like it. In this movie, we finally see a familiar set to the originals when Senator Organa and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda are walking down that hallway. You finally get a sense of the original films, and that was really well appreciated by fans. I always love the scene when Yoda walks into the office where Chancellor Palpatine is sitting, and those two royal guards are standing there by the door, and he uses the Force, and he just toss him up against a wall and knocks him out and doesn't even think about it. I always love that. It just shows like what a badass Yoda is. It's got really great cinematography, and I love the scene at the end of the movie when they're putting Darth Vader's suit on him. That scene is so dark and it's so great. I love that scene. I do have a few cons with this. Some of the CGI looks a little bit dated, but that's all right. And in case you don't know, the reason why the clones turn on the Jedi is because they have these inhibitor chips in their heads where when they're given Order 66, they will automatically turn on them without thinking about it. That's the reason why. But they don't explain this in the movie. Actually, we don't know about this until the Star Wars Clone Wars show came out. So I really felt like they should have explained this in the movie because when I was a kid and I would see this, I would be like, why would the clones just turn on them? Like, don't they love the Jedi? And they did, but these chips prevented them from even thinking about it. And just like Episode 2, the clones are CGI, and I really don't understand why they didn't just put people in costumes. But all the clones are CGI, and it's really dumb. And I remember that, and I never understood. If you have an answer for this, let me know in the comments down below. But when General Grievous throws like that electric staff through the window, in that ship in outer space when Anakin and Obi-Wan have him cornered, Palpatine's in that room too, And I don't understand why he would risk having Palpatine sucked out into outer space. Unless he didn't know that it was him for some reason. Because I believe he did keep that a secret from some people on the Separatist side. But if he did know that, which I'm sure he did, why would he purposely endanger him? That never made any sense to me. But if you can explain that to me, let me know. But I love this movie. This is definitely one of the better Star Wars films. I think it's really, really, really fantastic, and I'm going to give it a 95. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Planet Entertainment for more. Hit the like button. Leave movie suggestions down in the comments down below. Follow me on Instagram at Planet Entertainment for channel updates, and much love.